I stitch fire onto the paper, giving game about the caper, that down and dirty, that raw and uncut shit, that nasty, I don't wanna talk about it shit. I make you travel through my eyes and bear witness to the world, that cold and ugly place, and put it right up in your face. My storytelling exposes the nature of things on the continent where street niggas was meant to be kings. I represent their struggle, I pen their pain. Their soul moves me while my spirit is the gas that lit the flame and maintains the fire through novels I spit. When you done reading one, you be like, he was born for this shit. In graphic detail, I take you through urban insanity, accurately describe the environment but show the humanity so you can visualize what you might call nonsense, but then knock you off your pedestal as the story gets intense. Their spirit propels me, it's like I'm enslaved. Then words spew out from people that's from the grave, and your pompous attitude has been devoured thereafter as you experience the struggle through each grueling chapter.
I said, yeah, I'm weak for you. I know you can tell. That's why you got your hands on your hips using your mouth to give me head. It's cool though. There's no place I'd rather be. I don't want to lose my temper, so I leave to gather me. But that anger's yours, and I'm forced to stay, baby. Why we even gotta go that way? You ought to pep in my step, the groove in my mood. You reflect my thoughts because you down with your groove, but I be going up. And I try to be better. Then I get scolded for an hour until I promise to say never. But I don't want to hear that shit. Grown ass man. And you can use more than your mouth as a weapon to kill, like that glare you give when I know that you for real, or that punishment I'm on when I can't have nothing. Or we gotta talk before I get to taste the cookie. It's so sweet. I'm in a diabetic slumber. That's why I be tripping, because you got my number. I'm out for the count, so you the last person I want to fight. But my ego be in the way, even when I know you're right. But I'm down for your dirty draws, and that's from the heart. But my homeboys is around, so I can't be looking like no more. And be a simp, wimp. I'm strong, but don't leak it. Come on now. Women, it's our little secret. But I'm down for your dirty draws, and that's from the heart.
What's up, y'all? I'm kind of better known as TreMuch, and today we'll be interviewing the great novelist PaPa Sak, and he'll be telling us about his books and poetry. So, what's the concept behind the title 400 Thorns?
Yeah, the book, it's mostly poetry, but I do have a couple of short stories, and I have a small novella in it, you know, and it takes place during slavery. My main character, her name is Simone, and it just deals with her struggles. I'm telling it in third person, but yeah, it's a compilation of, you know, different writings and works, and I even got a couple of essays in there as well.
Alright, that's interesting. So tell me, what's the concept behind the cover and the subtitle behind bearing the cross on my back?
Well, bearing the cross, I think as black people, we've gone through some form of crucifixion, you know, some form of, you know, and in Roman times that was capital punishment. So I think, you know, it still is kind of like a symbol of death, and you know, but also a symbol of redemption. So that's kind of, you know, bearing the cross. But we supposed at one time bear our own cross and then overcome it, you know. So that's really the concept behind that is, you know, whatever struggles we got, we bearing it, but we can overcome it, you know. So it's hope in the in our struggle, as well as, you know, it's pain in our struggle, and that's, you know, the part of the subtitle.
I'm not loyal to the ghetto, just those that stuck in it. Speaking the language of the people, but telling no lies. Emanating spirits make me bear witness to their everlasting cries. So I make no apologies to pacify the fakes. You get it raw, like cocaine before it hits the states. And one day the tribes will unite and our people will be strong. I got faith in that, because I'm one of their own, and my bare naked soul will reveal the pain for all those that were slain would not have died in vain. That's why.
Okay, so that sounds real active. So is poetry your first passion, or is it fiction?
I would say fiction. I would say fiction. I do poetry. I like it. I love it. But you know, I like literature in general though. But poetry is a love. But I like being in those books. I like being in them stories, telling them stories, living. You know, because I'm living it while I'm writing it. You know what I mean? I'm seeing the scenery. I'm there. So it's a little different. You know, I'm trying to. You know, as I mature as a poet, I want to be more vivid, you know, with my depictions in poetry as well, you know, and be more storytelling oriented with even my poetry, you know. So, and I don't think I've reached the level I want to yet, but right now fiction is there.
What's your favorite poem, or do you have more than one?
I got two poems that right now are my favorite, because they storytelling poems. She Wants to Be Loved and Married to the Ghetto. She Wants to Be Loved is both of those poems are kind of dark, but they're stories though. And She Wants to Be Loved is about child molestation, you know, and you know how it affects us inadvertently, and you know, directly and indirectly, you know what I mean? And so I'm telling that story from like a little girl that's, you know, starts off, you know, being molested by someone, and then she gets to a certain age and how it affects her as a woman, you know, and her interaction with men. I think it's a good story, and it's of course a story that needs to be told. As far as Married to the Ghetto, that doesn't really have a main character, so to speak. It's just the ghetto, you know, that this is what we see. This is what everybody's dealing with on a day-to-day basis. But I think I tell it in a storytelling way, and so I like that. And I think I'm going to lean more towards that, too, with my poems later on, you know. And so, yeah, I Married to the Ghetto, and she's pretty to be dark. I mean, She Wants to Be Loved.
Tainting her beauty, because he's worse than a savage. His uncontrollable lust does insurmountable damage. As a tear kisses her cheek, her spirit whispers, the boogeyman got me. While he freely violates her underdeveloped body. She wants to be loved, but she's become someone's prey. She tries to get away, but her shame follows her every day. Her predator should be a patient at the Red Cross. Castrated and defiled before we cut his fucking head off, but he lives. And she grows to never trust men. So when one comes with good intentions, he still reminds her of him. Families are destroyed before they are even conceived, and her broken heart aches because she hasn't been taught how to breathe, how to heal. So her quick tongue has become a weapon to kill, because she sees men as different forms of a molester, so she becomes a bitch to the one who's made a vow to protect her. She wants to be loved, but she don't see that as common. And we as a community won't get to the root of the problem, so she's engulfed in her career to escape the memory. But together we should be the ones to hunt down the enemy with a stake in his heart. So he can't do it again. And practice real love. So she can get the proper understanding of men. Real love. That can make her whole.
and heal the wounds that can mend her broken soul. She wants to be loved. I see tears bellow down her face in puddles of despair, where crack pipes lie and alley cats carry pistols, making their brethren bleed for the small change he carries in his wallet. And the little boy is almost starving because his daddy's an alcoholic. Where graffiti litters the walls in assorted colors of pain and roadkill decorates the ghetto surface because hope has been slain. My eyes see single mothers descend in postpartum depression, so she binges until the midnight because seeing tomorrow is still a question. Where love and hate blend together in shades of death and mildew, and self-hate is so prominent the man in the mirror's liable to kill you. Violence is a shoe step away and genocide is a slow killing disease. While dogs chase cats and come up with nothing but fleas. I see her half naked and hungry for the love she's never gotten. So she rents her body to the highest bidder, getting residue that's rotten. So her good-looking clothes is a facade for bills not being paid. While murder stains the assailant and the puppeteer hides in the shade. Wearing a business suit, he's orchestrated this social condition, then riddles the underclass with bullets if there's any signs of sedition. Enforced by Gestapo stormtroopers with a trigger finger itch. So we married to the ghetto and she's nothing but an ugly bitch. Crying out cause her womb is polluted, scathed and tattered with all sensory details of hell. We've become her baskets that's learned how to harden our shell. A product of her malice, drinking from her corrupted chalice. We've acted hard for so many years that our hearts have become callous. The real struggle is to come out of her and you will no longer be blind because the hold she has on you is only in your mind.
Do you have a favorite novel that you've written?
I have, I would say my favorite novels, I like Kings and Pawns a whole lot. That's a cold story. I'm kind of partial to Hub City Hoodlum because it's about where I grew up. First Law of Nature and them Laney Boys is kind of my babies too, because that was when like it solidified me, like I'm serious about this, you know. So it's different feelings with different ones, you know. But I like the way I put together Kings and Pawns, you know, and I think that's my book that slept on the most. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I probably Kings and Pawns.
I was letting a few of the homies put hands on that nigga. He a tough motherfucker though.
You beat somebody down too much, he won't tell you nothing. And you can't tell me nothing because he ain't told you shit, right?
Nah, he ain't talk that shit.
Look here, Shocky. We play the game based on who we dealing with. Keep it gangster. But know who that you dealing with before you make a move. Look here, guys. I know you a rider through and through. I know you got loyalty to that nigga TreMuch, but you gotta know he ain't gonna win.
That's my nigga. I ain't turning my back on my peoples no matter what you do to me.
Nothing like loyalty and respect in this here game. How long you been in the game?
Been in the game all my life, except for when I was locked up. I'm a real Delmont Heights OG. You hear me?
Alright, so I want to thank you for coming through. Where can you get the book from?
Actually, you can order on Amazon. You can order Amazon. I plan on posting it on the Etched in Stone website, www.ensbooks.com. And yeah, and that's and it'd be ebooks, Amazon Kindle, and Nook. Yep, Nook. And I might actually put it on another ebook format as well. I can't think of the name right now, but yeah. So yeah, it'll be available in all those different areas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Until you, thank you for rolling through.
For sure.
All right.
For sure.
All right, everybody go and cop his book.